Hi, everybody. We're here with Mike McCann for the live Q&A today at 1 o'clock. Mike, how's it going, man?
Fantastic. Very good, Ian.
Good. So, obviously, I'm just sticking my face on the screen, but everybody's going to be here to see you, my friend. So, as everybody knows, I'll just do a quick intro because this video will also go around the downloaded version. But Mike McCann, #1 Berkshire Hathaway agent in the nation. Mike, is there anything that's correct, right? So,
Yes.
So I can't imagine there's anybody in this city, probably outside the city, it's probably connected as well, that wouldn't need to see, ask, or know more about the real estate game. How does a man do 700-800 transactions in a year? I know you give a lot of credit to your team, right? It doesn't work without the team, for sure. Fun to follow on Facebook, but the knowledge and the cycles, if you guys saw our prior videos that we put out, Mike's been around, my friends, and he has truly more information to give than probably anybody could take in one sitting. So there we go. Here's Ben Otter watching.
From Alaska.
Let's do it, Ben. So, Mike, the way it works, you can actually see on the screen there, actually post whoever's in the room. Ben, thank you for joining, sir. I've seen Ben is currently with his family in Alaska on the coolest trip you've ever seen. I've seen some of the Facebook Live videos. So they have bear watching, saw some pictures of glaciers. They have quite a cool cabin for the family. So the Aller family, a very prominent family in the city. Mike, I'm sure you know who they are. And so thanks, Ben. Appreciate you joining, man. Brian Reid, congrats on your success. So Brian is I've met Brian through not Brian, online. He's also another incredible social presence. I'd recommend doing maybe a video with him. Now his big presence is down by the Jersey Shore. So I don't know if you're a Shore fan, but Brian's a professional. Really like working with him. Very responsive like yourself, Mike. That's one thing I always. I'm going to ask you a question. With everything you have going on, how are you possibly so immediately responsive? I know you've gotten this question before in your magazines and so forth, but how do you do it? Are you just always on, like always redlining? Like, how do you do that?
It's funny. My phone does not ring or vibrate or anything. So if I'm not engaged with a customer or a client, or reading a book or jet skiing or riding my motorcycle, I am on the phone. But I'm never more than an hour or two away from, hey, sweetie, I got to check, and then I'm querying. It's in my DNA. 7 in the morning till midnight, I'm responding, and that's what I do. And I'm done an appointment. Before I move on, I will go through my 40 or 60 emails, and I talk into my phone, make sure I reread it, and then I send it. So it's part of who I am, what I do, my DNA. When I'm walking down the street, I don't walk with my phone in my hand. That drives me crazy. I don't stand in the middle of a sidewalk. That drives me crazy. I'm kind of off to the side.
I don't want to say I've tested it. I've actually told people to test it. I'm like, I'm not kidding. He actually does this. He will literally. They're like, how do I get a hold of Mike McCann? I'm like, just email the guy. I'm like, I'm telling you, he's gonna get back to you faster than you can probably finish your sentence. It's crazy. Demetrios, here you go. This is one for Mike. All right, Mike. How can a solo agent compete with a mega team like yours? How do you survive against them?
Love the question. Fantastic question. And what I always tell people is, I got into the business through a friend. He said, yeah, you can work with my buddy. I went to his buddy. He said, yeah, you can make a lot of money in real estate. So I joined his company. Well, I didn't know it. They did property management. They didn't even do real estate deals. So they put me in a basement of an office, tiny little office, said, here's a phone book and here's a phone. So by the third year, 1988, back in the day, I settled 90 transactions myself. No conveyancing, no team, no assistant, no email, no voicemail, no DocuSign. Yes, I did work 12, 14-hour days. Unknown real estate company. No one knew who this real estate company was. It was an unknown entity. I walked the streets, handed out things that we made on the copier. This copier, I had postcards made. I just walked the streets and worked and worked and worked. So what I did was I said, I want to be the most knowledgeable, the hardest working, and have the best reputation within the real estate community. when I realized we are all one family. We all cooperate with each other. So I want to help agents out. I want to be knowledgeable to make more deals. I want to outwork everybody because that's what I've been doing since I was a little kid. I enjoy work. Whether I was a dishwasher or working in the sewers or selling vacuums, I was always the hardest worker. And so what I'm saying is, so by 1988, I was the number one agent in the city of Philadelphia in transactions, number of units, 90. Not GCI. That was Barbara Greenfield. She did $5 million in '88. That was number one. Everybody's like, "Oh my goodness!" And and we only got 50% cuts back then. Anyway, so to me, you build that. You don't come in and you build a team. When I moved to a team, 1989-90, I got education outside of the marketplace throughout my career because I didn't have it in my office. I saw people in California, Toronto, and Boston starting to hire assistants. So in '89, I hired my first assistant. People were like, what are you talking about? You work for this company. You can't have an assistant. And people said, well, you'll never turn anything over. You're the king of control. So I went from the king of control to the king of delegation, yet I'm involved in every aspect. So after my business got so good, I took 3 months worth of pay, put it in the bank. I said, I'm going to hire you. It was $10 an hour to a person then. And I said, it's a 3-month job. If it works out good, hopefully it will, I'll be able to pay your salary. But I only have 3 months. I'm a self-employed guy, and I'm scared to death. I have a wife and kids, and I'm not making any money, or I'm making a little bit of money. And within 30 days, I knew it went good. I made an extra $40,000 that year. And then buyer's agency didn't occur until '96, and I was one of the very first ones in our marketplace to do that. But what you do is you build yourself up, then you hire an unbelievable administrative assistant, someone who's detailed. I'm sales. My wife was detail. She helped me with the structure of my foundation back in the day and still does today. And then when my business gets so good, then I bring somebody on who has my work ethic, who has my need to succeed, someone who's hungry. I don't put quotas on my people, but I want people that are hungry, responsible, respectful, and all that. So one step at a time, and every year you will do better and better. Invest in yourself. Grow yourself, get a great assistant, maybe another assistant. Because I had 2 assistants before I hired my first buyer's agent. Then I could offer something to a buyer's agent. Then by '96, I stopped sitting open houses. No, I'm sorry. In '96, I stopped working Saturdays. Because I had 3 children. I wanted to do stuff. I hired a buyer's agent. In 2000, I stopped working Sundays. So most of my success over the last 17, 18 years, Friday night at 7 o'clock, I'd be home, and I wouldn't be back working until Monday, although I was on the phone or on the email, but I didn't physically meet a client. So that was a long answer. I'm so sorry. But
No.
you can compete. Yeah.
Let me take one. Let me so one, everybody sees the glory. Everybody wants to use Mike McCann after 30 years in the business and think that you're going to do that, instantly. And Mike, if you can't hear me, you can just say it's an open broadcast, so it's no big deal. But you worked your tail off. You still work your tail off, but you really worked your tail off for a decade or more. Is that correct?
Well, I still do. In my office says, why do you work so hard? People said to me 15 years ago, why do you work so hard? This is who I am. This is what I enjoy. My team is my family. The agents in the marketplace are my friends, my customers. I have great responsibility for. I enjoy this. This is who I am. Yes, I take great trips. I do motorcycle rides. I go with my wife to islands. I do great stuff and have fun because I go to the gym. You have to have fun. But this is who I am. This is what I do. So I enjoy this. But I still outwork anybody in the office. That's still.
So it's not an arduous game for you. For you, it's if I said, Mike, what do you want? Do anything you want in the world tomorrow in the next 2 weeks? You'd say, I'm doing it. I'm doing it now. So there's nothing. That's it, right? Am I hearing that correct?
It is correct. And my team says it would take 4 people to cover what I do, and it still wouldn't be done. But that's just because it comes natural. That's what I do. That's what I enjoy.
And the other trick was I think you must have a knack for putting the right talent around you as well. I know you do. I know some of the players on your team, and they're very talented individuals independently. So you've drawn in to your team and maybe they're attracted to your work ethic, your charisma. I'm not sure, but you have a knack for finding the right people as well around you. So a combination of the two made you unstoppable. Really.
Yes, that's very, very important. I saw Jonathan flash up there. There are no shortcuts. There are no shortcuts. It's fundamentals. It sounds boring to maybe millennials. It sounds boring, but it's knowledge, hard work, reputation. Do what's best for your client first. It all sounds, silly in this tech industry, but that's what it is. Mike McCann is his reputation, and Mike McCann constantly delivers, and I take their needs first all the time. But I'm a results-oriented person. That is the most important thing. I'm nice to people, and people in general like me, but I'm not going to sit there and schmooze with them and golf with them or have lunch with them. I meet them, look at their goals, give them the solutions, help them with those solutions, and get it done. That's why people come to Mike McCann, because I get things done. And my followers, meaning my vendors, my contractors, my mortgage people, my title, my staff, everybody jumps for me because I jump for them. And so one hand washes the other type situation. It's all about relationships.
And the passion comes through, man. You can see it. I mean, you get people. I know I work with a lot of different people as well. And the truth is, and you would notice, if you put your heart out there for the people you work for, it comes back. And you're not actually doing it with the thought of, hey, if I do this for them, they'll do that for me. It's just who you are, right? You're going to be the guy that gives your shirt off to the guy in the street. Nothing's coming from it. It's just what you're going to do, right? So, but I think that characteristic, I'm sure you know it comes through in who you are to build the team around you, the loyalty of the team around you.
Yeah, without question. And my testimony or testament to that, and I'm very proud of, is my one assistant's been with me just about 20 years, another one about 17 years, another one 15 years. My agents have been with me 15 years. People stay with me, and I'm very proud of that. They could. So I have 6 full-time assistants now, and I want them for life. I hire for life. I want to take care of them. They're my family, but they take care of me. I mean, they're eating lunch at their desk just like I'm eating lunch in my car at my desk. But if they have to do something and go to a kid's event today, do it, So we kind of take care of each other. But yes, you're always good at the people you hire, and you have to hire right.
I got a question here from Demetrios. He says, how do you see, a little more technical, how do you see automation and things like Zillow affecting shifting to real estate sales business? How does this impact what you see? You have a really good, good insight here.
Okay, again, being an old dog, I went to this convention in '87 and saw that there was MLS on the computer, not in a book. And I helped our board get involved with getting the MLS on the computer. And when the internet started to come out, everybody said, real estate, they're going to take it away. We're going to lose our jobs. We're going to go away like travel agents. Well, same thing's being said with Zillow and other things. It has made our job so much easier. The customer has all the information now. The book used to say, do not allow it to leave the office, because we didn't want to give our information away. Well, I will tell you, buyers look at so many less houses and all that. Now, the problem I have with Zillow, and I freaked out at first back in, 06 or 07, Zillow and Realtor.com, was they wanted to sell me back my information. Like, I'm not paying for that. You're taking my information, I have to pay you monthly? Of course, I ended up doing it, and then I ended up doing it. 90% of my leads come in from Zillow, Trulia. Not 90, probably about 80% of my leads come in from Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com. So unfortunately, you have to spend money on those. Will that change? It probably will change in 5 or 10 years. They could be gone, who knows? That's how tech things are. The industry will not change. It's too personalized. So I don't see the real estate agent going away at all. There's going to be discount brokers. There's going to be companies that try to compete. But I spend money on Zillow, money on Trulia, money on Realtor.com to generate leads. That's where the leads are coming in. They have the highest SEO search. And then I have a follow-up system. The moment that comes in, goes to follow-up loss. I just lost you, E. Hello?
No, I'm here. I'm listening.
I cannot see you.
No, you're here. Yeah, you're still good, Mike.
Okay, well, I can't see you. So,
You're still good.
So it's very important those. I don't see it changing it's made our business easier because the customer has the information, but they really need us. They need a good agent.
That's so. Can you hear me? That would be important.
Hold on. Yes, come here for a second. I got to get someone to see if they can move this so I can see. But again, we can go.
So my thought on that would be adapt or die, right? Instead of fighting it or truly fighting it, you embraced it.
Let me get this.
Is that about right?
Oh. Adapter. Yes, there we go. She almost got you up. Hold on.
Okay, take your time.
Yay. Sorry. Thanks, Jess. See, there you go. Jess came in and saved the day. Adapter dot. Absolutely, constantly change. Again, I went from no computers to, Facebook, another example. In 07, 08, people said, you have to get on Facebook. I'm like, things are changing so fast. I have to keep doing this stuff. I was the number one agent in the country, in the city. And then by 2010, I said, I got to do social media. Then I became the king of Facebook. Not the king, but people came up to me and said, Mike, I've known you 5 years. Since you got on Facebook, now I really know you. And I've gotten so much business from it. So you have to adapt or you do die. And again, I bring in young people to keep me adapted because it's easy for me to cruise, but I don't want to cruise. So yes,
it's funny. I was talking to somebody the other day in my office that now, as the new generations come up, and you know this, I'm technically probably one generation out now from technology. And I said, you either end up like you, where you put the people around you, you understand it and embrace technology, or you fight it. And if you fight it for maybe 5, 10 years during a cycle, you are not valuable in the job world anymore. Just like that, like you're obsolete. It's crazy. So as I get older and I see some of the guys coming out of college and so forth, and they're speaking a language that took me 10 years to learn technologically, I'm like, I really try to stay in front of it for as long as I can, because I believe if you don't move with technology and you try to move too hard against it, you're going to pay for it. And obviously you've done this. You've done this for 30 years and you didn't even have email, into a point where, you're talking about your marketing budget for Zillow and Realtor.com didn't even exist. And you said something very interesting too to me, which is, we don't know if they're even going to be here in 5 or 10 years. The speed of technology. I just did an interview with Auction.com VP out in California, and I said, what are you guys doing? Because that's a really good platform to understand, hey, where's the market moving? And they said something interesting too that you said, which is because real estate is a transaction-based business with people, they're not eliminating the agents. They're making it easier to do transactions. A lot of people thought, hey, they're eliminating. They're not. You still need the agent. You can't go to your average person down the street and say, hey, I'm going to buy and sell this house. And you say, oh yeah, what's the title look like? What's the, give me the HUD. People are like, what are you talking about? So you'll forever need an agent. I don't think, unless you have full-on artificial intelligence handling the transaction, which that's a different conversation, you're always going to need good, qualified agents to do this business. So I think it's a really good answer to Demetrius is I wouldn't be afraid of it. I'd embrace it. Obviously, Mike has just said, I'm all over these sites and we see it. So that's huge.
Yeah, and the problem with Zillow, True, and Realtor.com, because my budget is going up and up and up. And 10 years ago it was going, now I spend $300,000+ a year on those things. It's insane. But it generates a lot of income too. And you have to look at how much you're spending, how much you're bringing in. But as a newer agent, I would work. Facebook, unbelievable amount of business I get from that. It's free. So I work that. I check in a couple times a day. I like a bunch of people's posts. I know what's going on in the marketplace. I post my stuff. I post what I'm doing personally. I actually enjoy it. I wake up in the morning after I speak to my wife and have my coffee. I'll go through Facebook for 5-10 minutes. Not going to sit on there for an hour. I saw people when technology came in get married to their computer. They can't get out of the office on appointment. I do my phone, clear my email, go into my appointment, come out, do that. Maybe I'll clear on after I'm caught up. I'll go on Facebook, post something, or see what people are doing, respond, have people know who I am. But that's a free medium that is great right now. Other people are on Twitter and all that stuff. I'm just a Facebook. I'm on Twitter.
Facebook's the most dominant, and you made a comment to me prior to this interview that said, hey, Ian, you've made a really hard push over the last 6 months, year, whatever it may be. We see you guys everywhere. I literally, you talk about when you go on for efficiency, results driven. You're not on there
I mean, you might have some friends, some family you like stuff, but you're on there for the same reason I am. I'm a walking billboard, right? You're on there for free. Every time you see that video run, every time people watch this video, they're seeing Mike McCann, seeing Ian Walsh. My partners several years ago were pretty ahead of the social media curve, and they said, I was like, all right, how are we going to push a lot of capital up here? They said, get in front of the social media curve. So you didn't see me several years ago because I didn't have a Facebook account a few years ago. And then I was like, okay, there's money here to be made if it's used effectively and done right. Now, I also believe in bringing value to the people watching, because I also feel like if you just give them more of the same, and I don't give them the Mike McCann interview, I don't give this interview. So if I give real value to the clients, it's, secondary marketing is how we approach it. And you obviously embrace that. So I think it's two ways to look at Facebook. And for sure, Facebook is the dominant of the social platforms at the moment. LinkedIn, I'd say, is a second. I've got about 12, 13,000 people on there that are connected. Twitter, not so much. It's not quite as efficient, I don't think. And then Instagram, I don't know. I haven't quite embraced it a little bit, but not quite as much as Facebook. Actually, I got a good question from Tim here.
Okay.
Did I lose it? Where we got Tim? So this is good. This is from a guy of your stature, Mike. I know you know the answers here, and there's so much you could say, but give some of your daily routines. A man doing 800 transactions a year, running a team, number one in the nation. People are going to want to know, do you brush your teeth first in the morning? Do you go eat first in the morning? What do you do? How does Mike McCann start his day? Because I'm sure it's militant. I'm sure what you do is there's a routine to it, I'm sure. So go ahead and do it.
No, it's so funny because people know me, or people I've mentored or coach. They know my routine, but my routine is my quality time with my family was always in the morning. So I wake up, I make the coffee the night before. I wake up, coffee's made, my wife brings it up. We have a pot of coffee in bed, and we catch up and we talk as we're waking up. It's the first thing I do. So I'm a quality time for a half hour, 45 minutes with my wife before I get up and go. Then she gets up and go. Then I go downstairs. I'll I'll look at my email, and then I didn't do this for years, but anymore I take a 15-minute hot tub, and then I will go to the shower and get ready. I've already put my clothes out the night before. So then I'm off to the races. So I'm out of the house 8:15, 8:30 at the absolute latest. Normally 8:10, 8:15, and first appointment's usually at 9 o'clock. So that's what I try to do. I mean, that's what I do all the time. I've been doing that for so long that when my children had their birthdays, it was in our bedroom. That's just where my quality time is. Then I'll work all day. My wife packs me my lunch. I'll come downstairs. She'll have my lunch pack. We'll talk for a few minutes, have some good music going, and then I will grab my cooler and my lunch, and I'm off. My first appointment's at 9 typically. And then I try to have a 9, a 12, a 3, 5:15, and a 7:15 appointment. And in between, I'm clearing email, running around, checking properties out, stuff like that. I get home at night. I walk in, my bag, my thing. I unload my cooler. I make the coffee the night before. I heat up. I go get changed, pick my clothes out. Very important. Pick your clothes out the night before. I still use an old school book. I look at my appointment book, what I have for the next day to make sure I have everything ready. Put my sweats on, come down, heat my meal up, and then hang out with my wife for an hour or two before she goes to bed. And then I'm back on the phone. So pretty consistent. So I like my quiet time, probably 10 to midnight when she's up in bed, and I'll watch sports, or I'll go on my phone and stuff like that. So pretty consistent, very, very consistent.
So I would say there's a couple of dimes for everybody in that statement, and I'm going to. So it's not the fact that you get up. I mean, it's cool that you have your family time cut out in the morning. It's cool that you have your clothes out at night. But what I think you're probably, and tell me if I'm wrong, you're really mentally putting yourself in a state that is, you've been productive for so many years. You know what it feels like to be productive. Your mind is gearing up, and this is what comes next before productivity hits. As productivity hits, you know when your appointments have to be. So I always tell people, people look for the magic routine from people. I don't think there's a magic routine. I think there's a consistent routine, and if you implement it correctly, your mind attaches those things that you do daily to success and things that worked for you prior. Now, if you derail yourself from that, it's like I always say to people, if you don't get up at the same time every day,
you're just kind of, you get up at 7 o'clock one day, 10 o'clock the next day, you're improvising your day. So you have no way to repeat what you did the prior day in a productive manner. And now you've done this for 30 years. So the margin of error for where you're not going to be productive is so slim, and you know immediately when it's off. So to answer Tim's question, I'm guessing, Mike, and I could be wrong, maybe it is that you pick your close out the night before as the secret to success, but I'm guessing it's more that you have found a routine that makes your mind run at that speed all day.
Yes, I'm prepared the night before for my day the following day. I know what my appointments are. I have all the materials that I need, right down to having my clothes picked out for that morning when I wake up. So I'm always a day prepared. Now, in our business, I'm constantly in flex. This just came up. Okay, I got to get over here. We have to take care of this problem. So I have to allow flexibility big time. And again, that's the difference. And I don't avoid I don't avoid issues. When crazy issues come up, I'm there. I get the people there. I always say, in our business, every transaction is different. I've settled 9,000 properties. Every transaction is different. So you have to have complete flexibility. But I had it right on. A problem comes in. I don't avoid it. I get it taken care of, and I have the great resources. I say I'm the air traffic controller. Okay, a pipe just blew up. Let me get my plumber out there. I meet him there. I get him through there. Like, I go above and beyond in every aspect that I do to get things done for everybody involved. But a routine is very, 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 very important. I always love to mentor young people. Like, I know it sounds boring, but you really have to have systems. Now, I love to sleep a little later on the weekend. My wife and I sleep a little later on the weekend, but like I get up at 8:30, or 8. But normally I get up like 6:15, 6:30. So the gym, I go to the gym the same time every day. Every 2 or 3 times a week. So I do have a lot of systems. And I also always block out kids events. I take my weekly, for the year. If I had soccer events or if I had school events, I block all of that stuff out. Personal events, they're blocked out, so nothing will affect those. I did not want to be successful and have a divorce and have a family that hates me or never saw me. Part of success is once you get beyond being able to pay your bills, part of success is happiness in your life and in the life of people you bring around you. Normally, a lot of times I'm fun to be around. I could be crazy too. If something's going on, I could be crazy, and I try to move away from people so I don't infect that, and I get it taken care of so I can get back. And in our business, you have to move on fast. I just had a bad issue, a bad phone call. I hang that phone up, and I'm on to the next thing. I am not going to go talk to everybody about that and carry that around. I'm on to the next thing. Sorry, I'm rambling.
No, Mike. You talk. Everyone's here. I'm just shutting my door. People laughing in here.
Okay.
So I'm sorry about that. I just had to move away. There's laughter coming in. So that's so dare I call it balance? Shall we say you've achieved balance?
I guess
hard to do.
Balance for a workaholic is relative.
Okay.
but it is bad. It is prioritizing. Yes, my business is important. It's who I am, but my family is more important. And family first is our slogan in our office and with me personally. And again, my kids or wife might say, yeah, well, I don't know, not all the time. And occasionally I could be crazy for that, but they do know that it's always been family first.
I do see it. I watch your stuff on Facebook, and you actually do put a pretty good blend of what you do personally and your business. It is a balanced approach, even on your social media marketing. I've seen you on your motorcycle. I've seen you were throwing the axe with, and so like I've seen those videos or the pictures with your wife. I think hopefully it was your wife on your bike, and one of the pictures I saw, so hopefully I didn't get you in trouble with it. But yeah, see, there's a clear balance, I guess, not just in this conversation, but you see it. Like I can see it, and as I've personally grown in business and so forth, you see the need for it. Because you're right. What's the point in having everything financially if you have nobody to share it with, if you have no family or friends or whatever it is?
Not helping people.
Not helping.
Yeah, because once you can pay your bills and have a place to live and eat and food, the next goal is to help people grow. Because I say 1 and 1 is 3. By helping you, I get better, and that is 3. 1 and 1 is not 2. 1 and 1 is 3. You have to help people without just like you. You do all this stuff. I got to know you. I respect you. I've already given you some business. You've never asked me for business, but now you're my go-to guy, and that's all because of social media. But you back that up with what I felt was character, knowledge, accessibility. So, like if you were seedy, I would have said, and I would have, cut you off. But I totally respect you, and we only got to meet each other, and now I consider you a friend and a business person who I highly respect just from meeting you through social media.
I appreciate that. It's an extreme vote of confidence coming from somebody sometimes you get compliments from people, and sometimes you get them and they really mean something. So I appreciate that. As they say, speaking from the heart, not through the teeth. So I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I'm going to jump to a question from Sarah. Let me make sure I get this correct. Will Mike speak broadly to working with difficult clients and his approach to drawing boundaries, if any, are there limits to the services you provide? So, I can tell you, Mike, I know a lot about property management. So I can tell you from where I stand, I'll jump ahead as you say whatever you want. But yeah, for me, there's boundaries. I look at relationships like sometimes the business relationship isn't going to work. There's a nice way to say, hey, I'm not a fit for you. You're not a fit for me. That's how I've done it. Now, you are way more versed in this than me. I don't know what your take on that is, if you're just not going to gel with somebody and how you handle it.
It's funny because very rarely in my career have I said that. But I tell my agents to don't allow time wasters. What I'm pretty good at is straightening people out. I get the thrill, but the challenge of straightening them out. And wording and detail is very important. So typically our time waster would be somebody wants an overpriced property. It shows horrible, and they want you to contact them every day. And they want you to spend a fortune and all that stuff. So I will work on educating them, physically meeting them. I will express my knowledge, passion, purpose, and then throughout listing the property, say it's a listing, I will communicate to them and typically I've had people say, again, I've been through 3 up and down cycles. In tough times when it's hard to sell, people come to the management. Oh, that Mike McCann, he stinks. He's not doing anything. It's not selling. I want out. I said, I'm not going to let you out of the contract, but if I can't make you happy, I will let you out of the contract. And then 30, 60, 90 days later, have that property sold. So basically, the best line that I ever use is, Ian, whatever you want to do is fine with me. If you were my brother or my best friend, this is what I would tell you to do. And then I lay out what I would recommend. And I will look them right in the eyes and say that. So I have to have the confidence. I have to have the knowledge of what I'm telling Ian to do and the confidence to say that and believe that and only tell him what I would do myself. So that's what I say. Whatever you want to do is fine with me. It disarms people. If I'm doing that in email, say, hello, Ian. Listen, whatever you want to do is fine with me. If you were my brother or if it were me, this is what I think we should do. Now, you might not like to hear it, but this is what we need to do, and blah, blah, blah. And I'll give them alternatives. So I constantly will give them alternatives, disarm them. But ultimately, if someone's a time eater and you can't straighten them out, and they're causing grief in your life, you should let them go without question. But I've gotten pretty good at very rarely have I had to say that to someone.
That's interesting. That's I like that term, disarming. That's what's that from? How to win friends and influence people. That's one of the things they talk about in that book.
I love that book. Yeah, and you have to communicate and communicate. Most people today do a three-word text. Anyone that knows me, say we have a conversation, it's important. I will then follow it up with a detailed email. Not a whole dictionary, but bullet points. Or tonight when I'm home between 10 and midnight, I'd be like, we spoke today about this, or I'll be reviewing feedback reports and I'll be recommending. So I'm constantly communicating with people, not waiting. I'm proactive, not reactive. So that's what's very important in getting people to become on your side. So many people would say in bad markets, well, at least with Mike, we knew he was working because I'm communicating with them, I'm doing things. So that's all.
I love it, man. Hey, I got one more question here, and then we'll wrap up, and I'd love to do this again with you. I think we got a lot of interaction. So let's ask this. Samuel Rifkin. Mike, what would you say is the most successful way to get listing leads from, or the most successful, best source for listing leads? I'm guessing I know the answer to this that we talked about earlier, but if I'm wrong, go ahead, Mike. What would you say?
It's funny. Of course, everyone will tell you the best way is past clients, constantly marketing your past clients, touching them 3-4 times a year. But I say I do everything every day. So I do mailings in a farm that went from 500 to now about 9,000 mailings every other month. Sends out a CMA report, and I get so many listings when I started that about 10 years ago in areas and neighborhoods that I didn't. So again, you start out small. So I'm going to focus on this area, and you don't send them recipes. You send them something of value. Mine's a CMA from a company. So I love mailings. I love old school mailings. I just sell a property. I do 100, 200, 300 just sold cards. Consistently doing that. But my best resource is referrals. I get listing leads from Realtor.com. There's a program on there. That was the very first one I started where you own that zip code, and if somebody wants a CMA, I get them from there. And today, also, the other thing you have to do is more testimonials. Zillow, after a settlement, after I send testimonials, people are Googling. My wife, again, 8-10 years ago, she didn't have an iPhone, didn't ever use it, didn't want to text. Now, no matter where she goes, she will Google it for reviews. So you have to get reviews. So after a settlement, I send a list of where people can send reviews on Realtor.com, Zillow, Troya, Google, my Facebook account. That other one, I forget, but a bunch of them. So getting reviews on Google and Zillow and Troy are very, very important. So did I answer it? There's not one answer. Come up with a system and just do that on a regular basis.
Consistency, right? I think that's one thing we're all taking from this. Whether it's your daily routine, your marketing, your people you work with, be consistent, right? It gives you a platform to produce from. So, or if you're not consistent, you're improvising and shooting from the hip. And that's not how you get to 900 or 800 units sold in a year. I mean, that's crazy. I still don't understand it. I mean, we do a lot of transactions for what we do. It's not even close, man. I don't understand it on that level. So it's amazing. I'm going to do one more, which is directly to BHHS. Provide. Okay. What value does Berkshire Home Hathaway Services provide to you at this stage of your career rather than just owning a complete independent brokerage? Wow, that's a pretty intense question.
Yeah. That's fantastic. What Prudential, now Berkshire, allows me to do is they have incredible support staff with the title company, the mortgage company, the conveyancing. They give me great office space. They give the newer agents, great training, but they allow me to be an entrepreneur. I am an entrepreneur. I am, running around doing deals. So they don't restrict me. They don't restrict me. If I ever need their support, they are there. So basically, they house me in a good shop with a lot of other quality people. They give me a nice working environment. They give me incredible training. They have so many tools. And again, because I'm my own system, I use some of them. I don't even know all of them because I have my own systems, and you can only use so much. So what I say is they are there. They have my back. Again, whenever I need them. So they're there when I need them, but they allow me to fly. They allow me to be free. But of course, I only do things that are honest, ethical. That was that one other question. Someone said, I just thought about that. When would you get rid of someone if they wanted me to do anything dishonest or unethical? That's the immediate response to disappear. My son saw me walk away from a $10,000 commission at a settlement because it was an FHA and they wanted me to sign on, acknowledge a second mortgage. And I left. I left that deal. Anyway, so they're there. They're there when they need me, and they have great training, great resources, very deep resources, a very committed family, great computer support if we need it, stuff like that.
That's very interesting. You said something about somebody to get rid of would be unethical, and I think you could co-sign this probably better than anybody. The more I've grown in business, not to your level, but the more people I've bumped into at your level, or maybe that operate around those guys, the higher you go, the more ethical people tend to be. A lot of times you get to a point where, people think that, this guy, he's the man, he must be dirty, he must be criminal, he must be crooked. The reality is most guys over a 30-year period, 20-year period that have made it in this business are going to have reputations that are absolutely impeccable. It's the guys who tend to push those boundaries in the wrong direction that don't make it to that higher level. So contrary to what I think a lot of people believe, the most successful people in business tend to really, the contract ends up becoming just a formality. It's the handshake, it's the word that you really are doing business with. It's crazy, but that's, your reputation is what Mike said earlier, is everything to you, which is interesting because Berkshire HomeServices is owned by Warren Buffett, right? Still?
Correct.
And what he'll say in 1 second, or in his autobiography, it takes you a lifetime to build a reputation, in 1 second to break it. So, and that's his thing. That's his foundation. More so than anything, it's Warren Buffett's reputation. So, interesting point, Mike. I would love to do this again with you, man. How do people contact you, though? Other than your signs are everywhere in the city, but how do I get a hold of you?
Mike McCann, the real estate man. McCann at McCannteam.com. McCann at McCannteam.com, or text cell 215-778-0901. Never forget, a couple quick, I have to say a few things before I go. I learned this from James B. Marion III, who taught me how to sell $650 vacuum cleaners in 79 through 81. Never give up. The harder you work, the luckier you get. Can't means won't. I can't do it. No, that means you won't do it. And if he can do it or she can do it, I can do it. Persistence, now I say patient. Patient persistence overcomes resistance. So they all sound like old man slogans, but if you believe you can achieve, the harder you work, the luckier you get. Never give up, one foot in front of the other every single day, and never forget where you came from. I am the same guy I was 30 some years ago when I had nothing and entered this business. I'm the same person. Now I just help a lot more people, which is fantastic. I help a lot more clients, and I help my family. And I have a great.
I love it.
I have a great life.
I love it.
Great real estate.
Who's not going to go out and sell something right now? Mike McCann, the motivational, passionate man. So, Mike, thanks, man. I really appreciate it. You guys will see this on Facebook. As everybody knows, it's ENIAN at hardmoneybankers.com. And real valuable information in there. So I will catch you around, Mike.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Bye-bye.